Hi everyone, Sean here from the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and welcome to Chapter 2 of the build series for the Klingon Battle Cruiser 650 scale from AMT. Now this is a pretty old design, everybody. It's about 50 years old, so there are some little flaws in it, and we'll get to that in the next video, and I've got some thoughts on that, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Suffice it to say, I was a little bit cranky with the way it was designed and that they did improve it, and now I have done 180 degrees. I'm really happy that the kit is basically as it was when it came out. So I'm really excited about that. And we'll talk more about that later. Before we continue, everyone, please remember we are still doing our subscriber drive. As of this moment right now, we are at 840 subscribers, which means we need 160 more of you to hit that subscribe button and enter a comment into any video on the channel. Hashtag Enterprise right here. You enter that into any of the videos on this channel, and once we hit the 1,000 subs and it sticks, one of you will get this kit that I'm holding right here in these hands that I bought. It's unopened. Will be built to your specifications as far as lighting is concerned, name and registry number, and we will ship that out to you absolutely free. You do not need to be a subscriber to win, but I do need to get to those 1,000 subs before we can do that celebration. So really looking forward to it. I know I'm harping on that with every video, but please remember, hashtag Enterprise. Let's get to 1,000 subs. And for those of you who have already subscribed, I really appreciate you. More than I can say. The channel is growing at a very nice rate. I'm really happy and thrilled, and I couldn't be having a better time. I just wish I had more time to build models because I've got such a pile behind me that, I mean, I'm sure if you build models, you probably have a stack, you know, like I do. But I got some cool stuff, man. I came back from Los Angeles, which is why this video is about a week late. I got a Klingon Katinga battle cruiser. I think it's, I forget what scale, 1400 scale, but it's a big one. I got a Romulan Doderidex warbird to build, and I've got a couple other things in the mail I can't talk about because one of them is a Christmas present for somebody, and so I can't reveal any of that. So, all right. Anyway, on to this video, everybody. This one here, we're going to be showing the lighting of the kit and prepping for sand, you know, do some sanding, talk a little bit about that, and that's it. So we're about 30 minutes in here, and I've got a lot of material already recorded for Chapter 3, so I'm hoping to get that out exactly in 7 days from now, give everyone a chance to watch this video and all that. So hopefully you're all building along with me. Now, in this one, so if you are building along with me or plan to, please watch the whole entirety of this video because there are a couple things that I mentioned in here that I learned or I came across that you might want to reconsider before you start your build. So go ahead and watch this one all the way through and then make your decisions. And that. And as always, everybody, please send me pictures of your builds, of your projects to the sci-fi model guy at gmail.com. It's either this way or this way. I don't know. And I will get them up. And I do apologize. I didn't have enough time today to do viewer submissions. I have the emails, and I am responding to everybody, by the way. So before if you send me a picture of your project and I'm going to put it up on the channel, I will send an email to you that night that I'm uploading the video to let you know, hey, your picture is going to make it in the video, so you'll be alerted. So don't worry. So when it's your turn, I'll let you know. And I am responding to everyone. Eventually, everyone will get recognized. And I do apologize for not having another viewer submission on this channel. It's about 3 in the morning right now. I'm really tired. And so I have to get this video up for the weekend. So I do apologize, and I'm sorry. Again, I just got back from vacation, and I'm still a little bit of catch up here. So we'll get everything, I promise. And hopefully you will all forgive me for skipping out on that for this time again. So that's it for this one, everyone. Enjoy this video. Thank you for the subscriptions. Hashtag Enterprise, and we will see you down the road. Okay, everyone, we're back again, and I've completed the drilling out of the rectangle holes on here, and you can see that there is some clear tape over here. So that is for a little thing we're going to do here. Instead of just leaving these holes drilled out and bare, I'm going to fill them with some solar res. So this tape on here is to capture the solar res that we're going to apply from the inside out. So we're going to go through that step in a minute here. But before that, just wanted to demonstrate what we're doing here with the front of the ship, the underneath. So I did make a decision. I'm going to do 4 sets of 3 windows. So I've already marked them here with some Sharpie. 3 there, 3 there. I'm doing 2 in the front, right there, and then 2 more sets of 3 on the starboard side. So we'll just go ahead and drill those real quick. Okay, had to pause it real quick, so we're back. Make sure we get the cord ready to go, and we'll turn it back up to 8. Okay, everyone. Hi, I'm so glad to be back here in the shop. It's been about 8 or 9 days since I was last out here. I had to take a little trip out of town, but I'm back, and we are going to be continuing to work on the Klingon battlecruiser. So, now, I think in the last video, we talked about a mistake I made, and that was that I had failed to light block the inside of the ship here with the black primer, and so what I ended up having to do is re-drill. I had to re-drill all these holes in order to get the solar res on there. So I'm going to redo it. So now it's been blocked, and as you can see here, we've taken the X-Acto knife, if I can find where that is. There it is. And as we've said before, you know, anytime where we have the plastic meeting and we're gluing at the glue points, we want to take off any of the paint. So you can see here, there's the black from the spray paint that we've done, and then over here is the bare plastic, and this is where the glue is going to go. And right here you can see I have some packing tape, and the packing tape is taped onto the outside of the ship. And what I'm going to do here is lay down some solar res because I want to kind of fill in these windows. I drilled out the holes, but I want to fill them in. I want them to look kind of normal. So let's zoom in here. Stop her from shaking. Okay, there we go. Now I've got the light here ready to go, and the solar res which I've had on its side so that it will be ready to pour out. So I'm going to just move the light here so I can see better. If it's too bright for you, I do apologize. So we're just going to lay this in here, and hopefully you can see this. Let me take a look. Yeah, you can, I think. So we're just laying in the solar res in here to kind of fill in as if it were windows. Now, I don't have a very thin needle-like thing for this. I wish I did. It would be nice to have a lot of this stuff and just kind of put a needle down in there and really fill it in nicely. But we don't have that. So I'm just kind of scribbling this around, hoping that it gets down in there. And we'll sand off the rest, hopefully, if it leaks out past that tape. We've got the solar res light going on here to get it nice and firm. And as we've stated before, the reason we use this clear tape is, one, to prevent it from coming out, but also so that we can get the solar res from the other side as well to make sure we get a nice solid cure. I do have the window or the door open here, so you may hear a car or some birds or something. All right. Now, I don't know if you can see this. You can kind of see that little window that solar res is in there. You can see the little reflection. So that's good. And I'm just making sure it got into all of them there. Didn't really hit all of them, but I'll take it, you know. Maybe if I can figure out a way to, you know, put this into a small bottle, like one of these, for instance. You can do one of these guys and put the solar res in there. It's just this stuff is so expensive. But maybe that's something I should do. I should get another bottle of this and keep it in there. Maybe, you know, put some tape around it or something to block the sunlight and things from hitting, because sunlight will cure this stuff. Okay. So we've got that out of the way. We'll zoom out. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what else we're doing. So right here is the bridge of the ship. There's, well, it's not the bridge, but it goes on the top here. Let's see. So we've got this is the bridge, and then there's this little guy that kind of sits up there. And on the top of these are a red light on each one. I thought about doing some fiber optics and getting that out there. I don't want to mess with them. I know fiber optics are cool and great, but I'm just going to go with two red SMDs. And you can see here, I've got one of them in there, and we're holding this in with solar res. So I'm going to apply that now just for demonstration. Okay. All right, so here's my other SMD. And I'm just going to, let me get it this side here. There we go. I keep having to look up and see if it's still in the camera shot. And still in view there. All right. Why don't I get some tape? Just because this wire here is being a little bit of a brat. Okay. So we've got the red SMD, and I'm going to lay it down right there. So the flat side here is the light part. I'm going to get that nice and flush and just hold it down with my finger. And we'll squeeze out a little bit of solar res. Now this stuff isn't a glue, but it will hold a bond solid enough to hold this light in place forever. So okay. Get it with the light. And once you get it for a couple seconds, you can kind of let go. So the reason I'm doing the solar res here is because I want to light block it. So after we put the solar res down here, and I've done this on other builds, now that it's nice and solid, we'll paint this black over there, so that will completely light block the red light from coming out. And it's a good little technique to do to get good light blocking. If you want to lay an SMD right over a window port or something, you can do this method, and it works pretty well. Okay, so let's put the cap back on there, and we'll just cure it up. And the other thing I really like, again, is because this sets instantly with this light. Okay, so we've got that, and then all I do is we just take some Vallejo model color, and I don't even paint it on. I just unscrew this thing and just kind of let it come out. Whoa, that was that was a heck of a lot. That really gushed on me. Oh boy. All right, so let's see here. Not to worry. Well, it's not really what I wanted, but we'll soak it up here. This is going to set overnight, so I don't need to worry about it really, and I can scrape it off. But man, that was a mess, wasn't it? You know, Exxon Valdez oil spill there. Anyway, yeah, we'll just let this dry overnight. I don't want to make too much of a mess in here, so a little mishap, but that's okay. So that'll dry, and then when that does dry, and let me bring this back here. When it dries, on the other side, we'll get a little bit of the solar resin, make a dome top at the end of the process after we've painted the ship and everything, and it will be there. So, okay, let us continue. So we're talking about the lighting of the ship here, and made a decision. We're going to go with 2 strips of warm white. I think this is the warm. No, maybe this one is here. No, this is the warm. I've labeled it. I labeled it like blue, whatever that says. That's warm. So we're going to do a couple things to do to attack this. So in here in this like bulb part of the front of the ship here, there are these window ports, and we're going to illuminate these with the strip lighting. So we're going to put one set of 3 lights on this side that will illuminate this guy, and then one strip of 3 here that will illuminate those windows. So that will take care of that, and that light will also take care of this little guy. Now right here is this little tube. It's like a photon torpedo tube. I think from the motion picture and other, bird of prey and all those things. They've got this launcher right here in the front of the ship, and this thing goes, gets in there. And there's one kind of a beef I actually have with this design of this kit. This little piece, there's no place for it to end. So, we're going to put this together. This is going to be glued like this. And then this piece, you just glue it in there like this. It just goes in. But there's no, see how it just falls in there? You got to be really careful. And there's nothing in there to stop this thing. It's kind of a poor design. I don't like that. But we'll make it work. We'll have to go very carefully. And it's going to have to be kind of jutting out, I think. But that'll be the last thing I think that we put in there. So I want this thing to light red. Now, it doesn't light in the show, but it did light in the motion picture. So I do think that if the special effects crew that built these models, if they'd had a little bit more of a budget, I am quite certain they would have made this thing glow, illuminate. So we're going to do that just to kind of, bring it more common with the Klingon ships that we're fond of. Again, I don't necessarily have to be exactly screen accurate with my builds, but I think this does add just a little bit. Similar to the Enterprise model kit. The impulse engines, for instance, in the original show did not light up red, but clearly their engines are supposed to glow, so anyway. So this is a little piece here, and we took the Dremel, the biggest drill bit that I had, and it was a nice size, and I drilled a hole right through there. And then I just did some CA glue and then some solar res and made it solid there. And then I just took some Tamiya. We took Tamiya Clear Red, just dabbled it on there, and that's going to give a nice little red glow coming out of this. It just give a little eerie red thing at this tube. So the only challenge is going to be just gluing this sucker in there, and that's going to be hard. So I'm going to have to be very careful, because this will already have been put together, and we're just going to have to slowly and just get it in there as much as I can. And I'll have to figure out something. Maybe I'll put a something in there to kind of hold it. I don't know yet. I'll think about that. We'll come up with a good solution. But that is one of the last things that goes in there. So we'll come back to that. All right. So we're going to be putting, again, a section of 3 lights on this side, a section of 3 on this side. And then for the interior of this part, these little windows that we just filled in, the decision I made was to go ahead and use some 0805 warm white SMDs and just put a few of them in here, because this thing is very thin and it's a lot thicker than these guys are. So you can't really thin these down. I've tried that before, where I cut it and you end up cutting these little things and it's ugly. So you can see how these are just a little bit too wide. So, and there's no real way to kind of lay them down and have that work. So I just made the decision to put in maybe 5 0805s in here, and that will be enough to lighten that, I'm sure. So we're going to go with these. I've got 3 here. I have to grab a couple more. Here's a warm white. That's an empty bag. Here's a set of 5. So what we'll do is we'll put these in this bag, and I'll just use these 5. We're using a whole bag on there. 5 should be plenty. I probably could get away with 4, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. All right. So that's it. That's the whole lighting of this kit is going to be 5 warm white 0805 SMDs and 2 sets of 3 of the LED strip. So I will get that put together, and we will come back and show you how that worked out. Okay. Okay, everyone. So we're back here, and the paint on here dried, and then when I went to test the lighting, I had to reorient one of them, and the light broke. So I've had to reapply this light twice now. I went through 2 other lights. I've just had kind of clumsy fingers tonight, and sometimes that just happens. So now we've got the phone here mounted on a little stand, and I don't have the microphone plugged in, so forgive the change in voice. So what we're going to do here is, I just wanted to show you this here. So again, we secured these lights down with some solar res. It was 0805s, I thought, but after looking at it here, these are using the 3020 pre-wired SMD LEDs with resistors. So they're the red ones. I do have to order some more. This is all I've got left. I've got tons of white and warm whites, but the red ones are running out. So these are the 3020s. They're about the same size as the 0805s. So these are working and tested, so they're all wired up and ready to go. And I just wanted to show you this before I did. So you'll see here, this paint is a little bit wet still, which is fine. We're just going to go ahead and glue that on, and I will do that off camera. So I just wanted to show you that. And then over here, we have completed our lighting for the lights here on the front of the ship. Now, I did turn them on, tested it. It's not really as nice as I would have liked to. I probably should have used a few more. I thought maybe I would, do 5 of them, and, I sent the back about a half an inch or so and oriented them to face here as best that I could. But when I tested them and I put the thing together, it's just, you can kind of see some dark spots and some things. It would have been better if these were very much closer. So maybe a set of 10 of them would have been better, or even doing some fiber optics, which I do have some. I just didn't decide to do that. It would have been a lot of fiber optics in here and a lot of gluing. And I just kind of want to build this kit. I'm not even going to light it that much. The lighting is just going to be for background and stuff. So I'm not trying to do a bang up job on this thing. I just trying to get it serviceable. So again, as this not like my best efforts, so to speak. So, which is fine. I just want to get the ship built, painted, and make it look nice on the outside. So, and I'm doing it kind of as a learning experience, because like we said, doing these little rectangle things here, and I tried it with the scribing tool, which worked. I could probably do a better job with some filing, thinner files, and a little bit more patience. But, not every piece that you do is going to be a masterpiece or something that you're going to sell or give away. This is a model kind of for me. I'm just building it. I want it to look, and of course it will look nice. We're going to really concentrate on getting rid of the seam lines on here and doing a lot of good putty work and giving it a nice crisp paint job on the outside with the nice decals. It's still going to look really nice, and I know I'm going to be very happy at the end. So anyway, if you're building along with me, this is a decent solution. If you don't have fiber optics and you want to put them right up into here, because fiber optics have to get really close and personal, and I just didn't want to deal with it. But if you're building along with me, I would suggest doing 7 or 8 of these SMDs, maybe even a little bit more, and put them a little bit closer to the windows here and do a few more. So that's just an observation. But anyway, but it's looking good. So, and then I'll move this out of the way. Now here is the tube here. I think I showed this the last video that I recorded. So here's the little thing that that slides through that tube on the front of the ship, and then I painted it red with the clear, and this is just some solar as I put up there, and that's looking good. It looks pretty cool in the in the light here. Let me see if I can. There we go. There's a little bit of a preview there. It's really bright on the camera, but it's a nice soft glow from behind. This is a very bright flashlight, so this is going to be cool. I'm sure this is going to be a nice solution. Okay. Now to the other lights on the ship. These are the sections of 3 LED strips. This is warm white LED strip that we've placed in there, and this is just a bunch of CA glue that I plopped in there. It's messy and ugly looking, but that's fine because we're not going to see that. I just put a lot in there just to secure it. So it was a little bit hard. I thought I was going to have a lot of room, but so you can see here the windows are right here, along this kind of path that I'm going along with this pointer thing. The trick was to get this strip underneath there and not block any of these windows, but there's this little support beam thing here that was kind of blocking it. So I had to really kind of squish it down with my finger. I had to do like that, put some glue, get the Instaset, hold it for a few seconds, hope my finger didn't get glued to the light, which it did at one point. And I'll tell you, that stuff, it burns, man, when it's curing. Because I had the Instaset on there, the accelerant, and it gets hot. So I'm trying not to glue your fingers. So, and I've got paint all over myself right here. So here's the other one too. This is a little bit nicer job, but this will do a fine job of illuminating these windows on either side. So, and then of course we've got the wires that are going to come through the neck here. And we're going to come out there. There's this nice kind of already pre-drilled holes. When you put it together, it'll be like that. All right, so that is it. I'm going to go ahead and glue this together here and tape it and get that secured, put the wires through, and then kind of follow the instructions on this guy. Let me zoom out here if I can. Right here. So there's the little guy with the lights. Where do you go? Where did it go? There it is. It's right in front of you. You could see it. I couldn't see it. Yeah, so this little guy will go here. That goes on that thing. The wires will go through there. All the wires come down here into the neck, and then we'll glue all that together. And once this part's assembled, we'll do the putty work on there, get that really nice and and secure. I'll probably do the sanding is going to be a very slow process because this is a real delicate little thing, and we've got the lights in there and stuff. So we'll do a little bit of recording for that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this gluing, and we'll come right back and see what it looks like. It'll probably be a day or two for me, but about 10 seconds for you. So stand by. All right, everyone, just a quick supplemental. So it hasn't been a day and a half for me. It's been about 15 minutes. So just want to show what I did here. So right here, you'll see this big hole. I had to drill this big hole in there. There are two that are part of the ship. Right, there's one here, a little hole, and there's another hole somewhere else. Wait a minute. Yep. So sorry. Yeah. So there's a little hole right here and another one right there. And this one here, I drilled it. So I just basically made this bigger because I had to get the little resistors that are on these red wires had to have some room for clearance. So did that. And then also you'll see here, I have a few of these quick grips on here. Now, normally I am kind of an anti-grip person. I prefer tape. It's a lot less stressful on the pieces. You know, you can't overdo tape, and with these you can actually crack the plastic. But these pieces here are very flat, so it's very thin, very flat, and it's sturdy. And I did need to get a little bit of extra grip on there. I could have done it with tape, but you know, when I tested this out, I'm like, you know what, these are flat, and I'll get some nice good grips on it. So I opted with these grips, so that will get this glue to secure really nicely. And then we'll have minimal putty work, hopefully, along here. And we'll get this all cleaned up and looking really sharp. And then the other benefit here, so drilling this hole there, that is going to allow for the other piece, which I also have clamped, because, you know, I was able to clamp it with this one here. It's a very small piece. So I've got the wires coming out of this, and this is that little bridge dome top thing that goes... it goes on this side. So when you look through here, that big hole that I drilled, so the wires for this piece here will be able to fit right through there, and we'll get all that into the neck when the time comes. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little bit of a talk on what the solution I did for that was. So it's working out really good. The kit actually, it lends itself to be lit fairly nicely, I think, with the again, with the exception of the torpedo tube thing. Really don't like how that you just have to kind of set it in there and hope it doesn't fall in, because if I have this thing glued together and that thing falls in, oh boy. So I'm gonna have to figure that out when the time comes. I'll probably end up just getting some pliers and holding it, you know, and just setting it in and letting it protrude out a little bit, because the last thing I want is for this thing to fall in there, because I won't be able to fish it out if it gets in there, and it'll be ruined. So, all right, yeah, I'm talking too much. All right, guys, we'll see you in a little bit, in a second, and we'll have all this kind of assembled, and we'll start the sanding process. See you soon. All right, everyone, so just in the middle of some stuff here working on the kit, and I thought it would be good to discuss this a little bit. So here's the bridge and everything. I've got everything sanded down real smooth. You can still see the seam line in here, but that's just where I had glued it. So we're going to be putting the contour putty, which is the red glaze spot putty, and I've got sticky here. let's get this off without breaking any wires, shall we? Okay. So yeah, here's the bulb, but the bridge is very smooth, you know, like, and just real quick, when you're doing this, I recommend like closing your eyes and just running your finger up and down this way, and then as far, you know, the other way too. And if you can feel anything, or if you could use your nail, go this way and go the other way too. If you don't hear or feel a click, then you're pretty smooth, and you can start doing your putty to fill in anything that your fingers can't feel. So yeah, I got it all down there. I did have to use the Dremel a little bit here, and luckily enough, which was really cool, there are a couple of things contoured. Man, this silly thing. I got to talk about that in a second. So the neat thing is this Dremel sanding drum thing is perfectly rounded to get into this. So you can kind of see. So if you have a Dremel tool and you've got this kit, this this little attachment here is perfectly sized for that, as well as this curve here for the bridge area. So like right in here, that sanding disc drum was perfectly in there. So I was able to go up and down and really smooth this thing out and get rid of the little lines that were in there. So that came out really nice. And it looks ugly here because we got some paint and stuff like that, but it's very, very smooth. And so we'll be doing the putty and then priming it and taking a look at that. But so that's a little update on there. And then the tape over here that I will show you, I just want to show you this little trick here. So these are some small metallic shiny pieces that go on the outside of the kit. I have decided to go ahead and paint these. So I've got some here on my alligator clip and kebab contraptions here that's holding them so I can spray them, because I think I've mentioned before, when it comes to little pieces like this, especially for Bandai kits, I do like to remove them from the sprues and then paint and do all the painting off, because there's the little things that connect there. You want to make sure you paint those as well. But so these little guys here, for these little pieces that you just don't have anywhere to grab onto with an alligator clip, these things that are on here, there's nothing on there. So if I put the alligator clip and hold them, the alligator clips are going to block and mask the piece, so I'm not going to get paint all over it. So I don't know if anyone has tried to paint these things just on a surface, but the spray paint blows these things all over the place. So just a little tip here: you can get a little piece of tape, turn it upside down, this is the sticky side, and just pop them down, and then you can still hit all the exposed areas. So these pieces are going to be glued down, so what you're seeing is going to be visible on the kit, and it also helps keep the other side safe from not having any paint get over the plastic, so you can still glue it properly. So anyway, yeah, just a little hint there. So some of these I was able to grab. There's a little piece on the other side, so those I just use these for. But yeah. All right, so that is there. So now I just got to go and clear out. I've got 2 Bandai model kits drying over there. So I got almost all my alligator clips being used. So got to go make some room. All right, everybody. The next step here is going to be, of course, so I've got, let me zoom out here. You can't see what I'm pointing at. So here's the little bridge dome here. It goes on there. The wire's going to go through there and then out here. So the neck of the ship, let's cut this out, here is going to attach in. So I've got to get all these kind of put together all at once. So the plan is probably going to be to paint the bridge and the little dome thing on top, and this all separately, and then assemble it and paint the rest. So we'll get back to that. I still have to put some thought into that to think of how best to do this, but we're definitely going to do the puttying here, and I'm going to get right to assembling some of these other pieces here, the warp engines and things like that. So a lot of fun coming up.